Mother Nature sure tried her best, but even her storms and showers couldn't keep us from week 1 of high school football. Friday Football Fever begins now. Hello everyone and welcome once again to Friday Football Fever, the Suncoast's hottest high school football show. I'm Trevor DeGroat and thank you all for joining us so much. Well, while most of the region was able to see football tonight, Mother Nature was successful in one area and one game that will have to wait. Unfortunately, it was our game of the week between Port Charlotte Pirates and the Lemon Bay Manta Rays. It was postponed due to lightning and a heck of a lot of rain down there too in Charlotte County. SNN's Lyndon Blake was at Lemon Bay tonight and gives us the lowdown.
Well, this was supposed to be our biggest game of the week this week, but unfortunately, Lemon Bay, Port Charlotte, it got canceled due to lightning in the area. There's still a bunch of lightning going on right now, I'm sure, as you can hear behind me. So now the game is officially rescheduled for Saturday at 10:30 a.m. Reporting from Lemon Bay High School, I'm Lyndon Blake, SNN, the Suncoast News Network.
All right, Lyndon, thank you so much. Well, back to Sarasota. The Booker Tornadoes fighting with the Riverview Rams on Tornado turf. Booker wins the coin toss, but a back-and-forth first half. Rams quarterback Mike Welcher tries to hand it off to Allie Boyce. Fumbles it, though. Luckily, they recover. On the other side, running back Jamal Benson for the Tornadoes. Swung around and brought to the ground by Riverview Ram Julian Lowenstein. Rams trying to get going. Boyce goes up the gut for a positive game, and it would lead to this touchdown on the quarterback keeper by Welcher. Breaks a couple tackles, and he's in the house. 7-0 Riverview. Soon after, Booker's defense would tighten up, though. Senior defensive lineman Kelvin Pinckney Jr. puts the sack down on the Rams QB. Down with the sack. And it looks like Riverview is going to come away with this one. Right now, updated score for us is 44-20. We head over to the Bear Trap, where the Bayshore Bruins hosted the Braden River Pirates. This one started early with a Bruins fumble, and here come the Pirates. They take advantage. Quarterback Louis Colosimo, his first career regular season start, completes the touchdown to Deshaun Fenwick on their first offensive play. Nice night. When it rains, it pours. Colosimo links up with Knowledge McDaniel. He scores. Pirates jumping out to an early 14-0 lead. Then look at this long field goal by Tyler McCauley. Braden River just rolling, but not exactly just yet. Bruins forced a fumble. They get back into a little bit of business. A beautiful toss from Bayshore quarterback Ryan O'Neill way downfield to receiver Miguel Rodriguez, but it gets called back for holding. That was pretty much all the action for Bayshore as the Braden River Pirates absolutely roll 36-0. Welcome back, everybody, to Friday Football Fever. We go up north now to Palmetto, where they hosted a very dangerous Fort Myers Green Wave team, the Tigers did. Lightning also playing a part in this one, delaying it until 8:15. Jason Spicer Jr. in his first regular season start at quarterback hits Jacob Sullivan for a nice solid gain, then tries to go deep, but the throw is going to sail over Sidney Pompey Jr.'s head. That would have been a huge gain near the 10-yard line. Tigers forced to punt. Head coach Dave Marino's defense was on fire tonight, especially linebacker Alonzo Houston. Green Wave trying to reverse. Houston drags down Dawson DeGroat. Folks, that's my cousin out there. Stay off him there. Thanks, Mike. You get some really good. Houston, stay off him, buddy. Once again, another solid tackle right there. How about Lester Johnson can't bring down Darian Felix the first time, but tracks him down for the sack. Tigers end up fending off Fort Myers in this one. They get a huge win, 20-14. Southeast Seminoles trying to fire up in their home opener against Hernando Nature Coast, but it was the Sharks striking first on the opening kickoff, no less. Senior Sineas Nickinson is going to take the pooch kick all the way back for a touchdown. It's a 6-0 lead for the Sharks. And following a 3-and-out by Southeast, Brian Haygood needs just one play to get another touchdown. Hooks up with Gilbert Delgado up the seam. It's 14-0. Sharks are shredding Southeast. Knowles quarterback Alex Taylor trying to get in gear, finds number 3, Tyler Stevenson, down the sideline for a solid first down game. Look at him break some tackles in there. A little feisty guy, but too many mistakes played him in the offense. Stevenson, as you'll see, slips in fact, a real muggy field. Taylor can't pull the trigger and is mauled for a sack. Coach Rashad West will have to wait until next week for his first win. Nature Coast takes this one 33-14. To Higrick Field we go at Sarasota High. Sailors season opener against Cape Coral. Brian Gagg finds Deshaun Hayes down the middle, and no one is going to catch him. Look at him, plucks this thing out of the air. Touchdown Sailors. A few plays later, quarterback Cam Blissett for Cape Coral. Pass going to be picked off by Mitch Nguyen. Look at him out of nowhere, and the Sailors are in business once more. Quarterback Brian Gagg keeps it going on the quarterback keeper right at the goal line. 14-0 Sailors starting to get a roll going. Here's the strangest play of the game, though. Gagg is going to throw to a pass intended for Mr. Ward, and it's going to bounce around, and it's into the hands of linebacker Ricky Anderson. He didn't realize the play was still going on. Keep on going, boys. Let's go. But unfortunately, they couldn't prevail as a bad snap sails over the QB's head, and junior Dakota Morris is going to scoop up the ball. Almost goes all the way, but gets tripped up 70 yards close to an end zone. Sailors, though, go on to win this one 34-7. Also in Sarasota, after an hour rain delay, Cardinal Mooney hosting Bishop Verot, rivalry game here. Cardinal Mooney came out and dominated. 21, Bryce Williams breaks through that Vikings D for a run in for a touchdown. Well, they'd missed the extra point, but that was far from the only points that Cardinal Mooney would put up. Number 2, Tristan Hillerich with the inside handoff to number 32, Miko Mays. Looks like a jet sweep right there, and he gets inside the corner. That made it 32-2 for the Cougars. Vikings come back with a touchdown, though. Number 1, Devin Thompson, way downfield, puts them on the board. But Cardinal Mooney would fire back with another TD, making it 39-9 at the end of the third quarter. They go on to rout the Vikings in this one, folks. As we take a look at some of the other scores going around, obviously yesterday's game, Jesuit beating the Lakewood Ranch Mustangs 39-3. Venice Indians off to a great start once again, welcoming in from Georgia, Camden County. They're routing them in the third quarter. Manatee Hurricanes and Hewitt Trustville. What a slobber knocker of a game that is. So many points in that one. Right now it's Hewitt Trustville 64-42. As we take a look at some other scores going around, Cypress Lake and Northport were actually postponed, along with Port Charlotte and Lemon Bay. They will also be playing on Saturday morning. Zephyr Hills Christian defeating Out of Door Academy 14-8. And also in some other games we see right now, Southwest Florida Christian is beating up on Bradenton Christian 35-9. And St. Stephen's is losing to the Community School of Naples. Hey everybody, welcome back to Friday Football Fever. Now's the time when we get joined by Herald Tribune sports columnist Doug Fernandez. Doug, how we doing? It's a pretty wet one out there tonight, everything gets delayed a little bit.
You know, this was like broadcast news, if you've ever seen the movie, just running on before the camera goes on. Yeah, it was a lot of rain out there, lightning. What I didn't know is that if you see lightning strikes in the area, the game's going to be delayed 30 minutes. Yeah. So the Sarasota game started at 8. We still have plenty of games still going on right now.
That's true. We really do. And these are going to continue. And even some games not even getting into tonight. There are going to be a couple games going to be starting on Saturday morning. In particular, was our game of the week, Lemon Bay against Port Charlotte hosting. When you've seen in all your years that you've seen, you know, these kids that come out and have to wait, especially on their opening day. I mean, what does that do to the psyche and having to come out on Saturday morning?
Well, I think, good question. I haven't covered many games on a Saturday, but when you're pumped up to play that opening game on a Friday night and then the letdown of not playing, you got to get yourself back up, play at a time you're not used to, 10:30 in the morning. I mean, a lot of these kids are just rolling out of bed. When it's not school, they're rolling out of bed at 10:30. So it'll be an adjustment. Obviously, for the home team, much bigger one. Yeah. You know, Venice had visitors. You know they were going to get that game in. Georgia brought 100 people down, band members, everybody down.
Yeah, so they weren't exactly
get the game in.
Yeah, they weren't going to leave exactly going back up to Georgia, or they sort of found some sort of hotel, but for sure. Let's talk about your game. You were at Sarasota. This team looks really, obviously legit right now. They're obviously really on a great bar right now. Brian Gagg looks absolutely fantastic.
Right. I'm with the whole judgment. They finished with negative yards rushing. You can see why Cape Coral was 2-8 last year. One of the wins was against Sarasota. They had 5 picks. 5 fumbles, lost 2 of them. Every one but 3 of the Sailors' 10 drives, they started inside Cape Coral territory. So really, theoretically, Sarasota could have had a lot more points than the 34 they have. Gagg finished 12 of 24 for 126 yards. But really, the guy who ran the ball, freshman, Trayvon Hall, had 2 rushing touchdowns. Jawan Williams didn't really have much going on, negative yardage. They put in the freshman, and he scored a couple of touchdowns. But they have work to do. When you finish a game with minus rushing yards, Brian Wiles has got to address that point.
He certainly will, but at least they get a little bit of revenge from Cape Coral. They lost to them down in the Fort Myers area last year in the Cape Coral area, so at least they get that little measure right there. As far as some other games go, you know, you look at a team like Palmetto that beat Fort Myers, another team that had to go down to Fort Myers last year comes back up, and Jason Spicer Jr., a first-tier guy, first quarterback start, first season start for him, looked pretty decent again tonight.
Yeah, I saw him last week. You know, when you lose a guy like Jack Allison, you're wondering how is Dave Marino going to recalibrate this offense. What I saw, he was more of a running quarterback than Allison ever was. Not quite the passer that Allison was, obviously. But Marino, he's been in this area so long, he will have his team ready. Very tough district, but I expect them to improve as the season goes on. And I guess the Booker Riverview game, anxious to see how Riverview's running attack did behind that offensive line. The game was just finishing up as I raced in here, but I think they won pretty good. Yeah,
Riverview got the win tonight pretty convincingly. Right. Obviously, Arthur Brantley for Booker got hurt last week, but he was in the game tonight, which is a positive sign. A couple of miscues and a lot of wet footballs out there tonight, obviously, with the rain playing such a factor. Maybe it wasn't raining at the time of start, but obviously with the wet grass and everybody, a few fumbles and a lot of miscues tonight. The Riverview seems to be on the cusp possibly of making a run themselves in 8A.
I'm going to, I mean, besides Manatee, who's out and out the favorite, there's a lot of Tampa teams that if you know Tampa teams, they're up and down every year. So if Riverview, in fact, I have a story coming out in next week's Herald Tribune on the offensive line. You know, years ago when they had guys like David Boss and John Rissler, they were stout up front. They have a couple of 300-pounders. Look for Riverview's offensive line. Maybe it don't have to be what it was on the John Sprague years ago, but I talked to Todd Johnson. If they get that running attack going, they may not have to use Mike Welser, the quarterback, as much as in previous years.
Certainly will. And Braden River absolutely dominating Bay Shore tonight. There's really no surprise in that. Rashad West steps in for Southeast. And that didn't have the night he wanted. A lot of miscues. I was at that game for the Southeast Seminoles, but they lost tonight 33-14 to a Hernando County Nature Coast Sharks team. What do you think, you know, for some of these new coaches out there, what do you feel like their message is these first few games to try and get something, and especially for a rich tradition like Southeast is trying to get back that tradition that they've seemed to have lost in recent years?
I'd say when you're a new coach coming in, I don't know the overturn of players. I'm just telling my guys, don't make the stupid mistakes. Today I saw Sarasota and Cape Coral offside, motion penalties, false start penalties, stuff that you can control if you're just attentive to detail. So early on, just don't kill yourself with those mistakes. And as the season goes on, you add a little more to the playbook. The coaches get to know the players and vice versa. He was an ex-player for Southeast, so they just get to know him a little bit better. And I expect Southeast to maybe be one of the surprise teams in the area.
All right, we'll certainly keep an eye on them in 5A. Doug, appreciate it. First week was a success. Got a lot more to go. That's it for Friday Football Fever, folks. Join us next week, same time, same place here on SNN. Have a good night.